Hi, this is another Ask Augustin. Today's episode is actually also part of Nicola Benedetti's Benedetti sessions about the 24th Caprice by Paganini. I'm going to be talking about the sixth variation of the 24th Caprice, which is the one with all the thirds and tenths that we love to hate and hate to love and all of that. It's a very, very scary variation. And I'm going to talk about it and give maybe some tips on how to make this more manageable. Like any really, really difficult task you attempt, it becomes much more manageable if you split it up into small problems, solve each one, and kind of isolate them, then put it back together. So as you start these third runs, you want to be really aware of which ones are the minor thirds and the major thirds. Minor, major, minor. And make sure that the difference is big enough. You really want to make sure that your minor thirds are narrow enough, which actually means going further apart with the fingers. It's really counterintuitive. Major thirds should be wide enough, should sound wide enough, which means actually going closer together with the fingers. Sometimes that's confusing. When you go very fast, you might actually want to exaggerate that difference even slightly more. It helps them to pop out a little bit more. Be aware of the tendencies of your fingers. When you have something very awkward, like this interval, it's quite a big stretch between the fourth and the third finger. Chances are the fourth finger has a tendency to be a little flat, the third finger has a tendency to be a little sharp. Your hand just doesn't like this, so it's going to go into this direction. So be aware of the direction in which the notes are most often out of tune, and that can help you kind of prevent that, and just make sure that this interval is wide enough. Sometimes when I put it all together, I actually like to add in a tiny bit of portato just to make the notes come out a little bit clearer, so we don't hear too much these shifting noises as you're changing positions. Sometimes the portato can help hide that slightly. The second half of the variation is where things get really, really hairy, where you have two very difficult runs of tenths. Once again, just like in the thirds, you want to be clear which are minor tenths and major tenths. So you have 4 minor tenths, and then major tenths, and then minor tenths again. And you probably want to isolate these three groups a little bit as you practice, and then gradually practice putting them back together. Eventually, you can get your hand used to going up and this widening for the major tenths and becoming narrow again for the minor tenths. It can become, can start feeling like a natural process. But it never feels super comfortable. It's always like a little risky. It's like, here we go. But the next one, unfortunately, is actually even harder, I think. What's really hard about it is, it's similar to the previous one. What's hard about it is that you have this major tenth here, which I find one of the harder ones to get in tune. When you start, you'll be in third position, and you're going to stretch down rather than being in a lower position and stretching up. You want to be in third position already so that this process of sliding up will be easier. Make sure you make the most out of the end of the variation. Yay, you're done with one of the hardest variations of the 24th Caprice. But there are more to come. It keeps going. I hope that's helpful, and I'll see you next time.